Chapter 16 of Going His Way, Little Talks to Little Folks by Rev. Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. Chapter 16. The Girl Who Didn't Want to Go to Heaven. One day, Sister Judith told the first grade children all about heaven. She told the children that when they would go to heaven, they would see God and the Blessed Virgin Mary. They would also see St. Joseph and all the other saints. They would see the angels, too, and they would hear the angels sing. Then Sister Judith told the children how happy they would be in heaven, how they would never have to work or suffer. Everything in heaven would make them happy. Little 6-year-old Mary Pat listened to every word that Sister Judith spoke. Then and there the little girl knew that she wanted to go to heaven. On her way home from school, Mary Pat told her older cousin Frank what Sister Judith had said. But Frank just laughed when he heard the little girl telling about heaven. "Aw, I'll bet that they don't have hot dogs or merry-go-rounds in heaven," said the boy to Mary Pat. "If nobody works in heaven, then they don't have ice cream or cake either." That was all that Frank said, but that was enough. It was just enough to puzzle little Mary Pat, and to make her wonder. Heaven without hot dogs? Heaven without merry-go-rounds? Heaven without ice cream and cake? Why, Mary Pat felt that she needed all these things to make her happy. How could she be happy without hot dogs, merry-go-rounds, ice cream, and cake? If these things were true, then she didn't want to go to heaven. That evening, Mary Pat's mother knelt beside the little girl's bed. It was time for Mary Pat to say her prayers. But the little girl didn't kneel down to pray. Oh, no. Do you know what she did? Mary Pat climbed into bed. "Why, Mary Pat," the girl's mother couldn't understand. "Aren't you going to say your prayers? You know, if you don't say your prayers, you won't go to heaven." "I don't want to go to heaven," cried the little girl. The mother knew that something was wrong. She hugged the little girl tightly and wiped away her tears. "Tell me, Mary Pat, what's the matter? Why don't you want to go to heaven?" Mary Pat cried some more. It took a long time, but finally the words came out. "Sister Judith told us today that we'd have everything in heaven to make us happy. But Frank said that there will be no hot dogs or merry-go-rounds or ice cream and cake. How can I be happy without these things? No, I don't want to go to heaven." "Mary Pat," said her mother kindly, "Frank told you wrong, and everything that Sister Judith said is true. Heaven is a very beautiful place, the most beautiful place that God ever made. God is up in heaven, and His Blessed Mother is up there too. Yes, and St. Joseph is there, and all the other good people who ever lived on this earth. There are angels, too, hundreds and hundreds of angels. And that isn't all. You'll find everything in heaven to make you happy. No one is sad up there, and no one cries. Why, when you see God, you'll be so happy that you won't need hot dogs or merry-go-rounds or ice cream and cake." Then the mother asked a question. "Mary Pat, do you remember what happened when you got your new doll last Christmas? Your new doll made you so happy that you forgot all about your old dolls. Well, that's the way it will be in heaven. When you see God, you'll forget all about hot dogs, merry-go-rounds, ice cream, and cake. You won't need these things to make you happy. You'll have God, and God will make you so happy you'll forget all about these other things." When the mother finished talking, little Mary Pat clapped her hands. Now she wasn't afraid to go to heaven. In fact, the little girl told her mother that she wanted to go to heaven and that she was going to work hard to get there. Children, I think that someday Mary Pat will go to heaven because she wants to go to heaven. People who don't want to go to heaven will never get there. Now it's the same way with you. The first thing that you have to do is to want to go to heaven. If you want to go, then I know that you'll work hard to get to heaven. End of chapter 16.